Hello there, first time in the jungle. Let this guide help you through surviving your first couple days in the Amazon, and while this video won't be covering any of the story, it will help keep you alive long enough to get through it. Do note that this is covering the VR version of 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄, not the desktop version, as there are some significant differences between the UI and crafting mechanics. First, let's give you a basic overview of your watch, which you will be using a ton. You can cycle through each face by simply tapping on the watch itself. The first screen shows the date and time. The sun starts setting at around 1600 and gets dark by 1900. At 0500, sunrise starts, and by 0700, the sun has fully risen. The second screen allows you to go to sleep, which speeds up time and refills your energy meter, but also makes you hungrier and thirstier faster. Sleeping on a bed versus the ground is more beneficial because it will help keep you sane versus sleeping on the ground, which will give you a sanity penalty. The third screen shows how badly you're affected by certain ailments: food poisoning, stamina, insomnia, parasites, poison, and fever. Depending on how ill you become, a number will appear on this, and later on in the video I'll show you certain plants you can use to find and consume that will help bring down these numbers back to zero. Finally, the fourth screen shows you your macros, proteins, fats, carbs, and water intake, all of which you need in order to survive. I'll go into more details on these a little later as well. You'll also see your sanity meter in the middle. White is perfectly sane, black is slightly starting to go insane. Finally, the fifth screen shows you your GPS and your compass, which you can use in combination with your map in your notebook once you find it. However, your current location will always show up on the map automatically. You'll see two bars at all times on your HUD. The top is for your health and the bottom is for your energy. Health can decrease if you have parasites, lacerations, poison, or any untreated injuries. You need to treat it before your health starts regenerating naturally again. You can also gain health by eating food. Certain food will help increase your sanity if low, such as eating cooked meat and other nuts and fruits. Everything you do besides basic walking requires energy, which you will slowly lose over time naturally. In order to replenish this, you can either eat more food, particularly the indigo blue leptonia, which I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, which restores 10 energy, or cooked foods, or you can also go to sleep. To do this, find a nice spot on the ground or make a bed, go to the sleep function on your watch, and tap and hold. Your notebook can be accessed by grabbing onto the right pocket area of your chest and holding down your grip button while pulling it away from your body. You can use the notebook to access your current objectives, read any notes about the story so far, use it as a reference for flora you've found and eaten, ailments, crafting, and for building outlines. If you want to build any structures, you need to click on the item in your notebook with your trigger, then plus trigger again to place it in the world once it shows white. Once you find it, you can also use the notebook to access your map. You will appear as a little moving white icon, so it's difficult to actually get lost. When you find something you want to keep, reach out and grab it with the grip button, then simply reach behind you and you'll see an indicator that the item has been placed in your backpack. Note that certain large items cannot be placed in your backpack, like large sticks and big rocks. To access your backpack, reach over your left shoulder, hold the grip button, and bring the backpack out from behind you. You only have a limited amount of space for each item type, so plan carefully. If your backpack is full while trying to place an item, you'll hear it drop to the ground behind you, or your character will act super dramatic and will curse for some reason. Your items will also eventually spoil or break over time. The more of a red ring that appears around the item, the closer it is to being useless. A spoiled or broken item will have an X on it and should be thrown out immediately for more space. Some items such as herbs or trees and certain fruits and nuts will need to be whacked at with your axe before you can gather its resources. You can hold two tools at the ready using your holsters. Simply bring the item to your side until it highlights, then let the item go. Larger weapon items like spears and bows will go into your backpack, and for quick access to them, reach behind your right side and pull out the item with your grip button. You can only have one large weapon stored at a time, however. In order to survive in the jungle, you must fulfill some basic needs, the first of which being food and water. You can find a readout of your needs on your watch. You have 3 food types to fulfill: protein, fats, and carbs, but you also need to make sure your water and sanity needs are met. To eat something, bring it to your mouth and wait for the white circle to appear and fill. Keep in mind you will want to cook meat to avoid getting parasites, food poisoning, and losing sanity, but a lot of fruits, nuts, mushrooms, and herbs you can eat as is. Eating cooked meat can also help improve your sanity as long as it's not a bug like a spider or scorpion. Protein can be obtained from meat and some nuts, primarily by hunting the various animals around. Crafting a spear or bow in the beginning will be a must. Crafting will be covered in more detail in a section ahead. The best sources of fats come from nuts such as the Brazil nut from the thick trunk trees, raffia nuts you get from small palms, or from coconuts. Some nuts need to be cracked open with your axe in order to consume them. Carbs are one of the easiest sources of foods to find, primarily from fruits such as bananas, coconut, and mushrooms. There are a few ways to stay hydrated. The easiest in the beginning is by finding coconuts. Hit it with your axe to remove the outer shell, then grab it and hold it to your mouth until the white circle fills. You can keep the shells and use them to collect rainwater, which will be clean. You can scoop water with the shells straight from rivers, but the water will be dirty and can possibly make you sick. Instead, bring the water to a campfire, place the bowls nearby, and wait for the water boiling indicator to fill, indicating that it's safe, clean water to drink. Alternatively, you can craft a bidon using a coconut that hasn't been fully cracked in half yet and some rope. The bidon holds up to 40 units of water and can be dunked in water sources in order to fill. However, the water will be dirty and may give you parasites, so make sure you have these little plunger mushrooms on hand to remove them if needed. Finally, we have sanity, which is the head icon in the center. If you lose enough sanity, your screen vignette's black and you will start hearing voices. You'll lose sanity by eating worms and bugs, getting leeches, and by sleeping on the ground. To help gain sanity, you can sleep in a bed, eat cooked meals, and stay near a campfire. You will unlock more crafting recipes as you progress through the game and find more ingredients. The basic tools you'll want to craft in the beginning are the axe and the torch. For the axe, start with a stick and a stone, hold both triggers while you push the stone into the stick. Then grab a rope, which can be found as liana off the super thick trees with vines, and hold the triggers and wrap the rope around the head of the axe. The torch is simply a rope wrapped around a stick. You can light it by bringing to a campfire. For weapons, you're going to want to start out with a spear or a bow. A spear is just a long stick plus sharp stone, which you can sharpen by just hitting two stones together, and a rope. A bow will be useful against creatures you don't want to get close, such as jaguars. You can find a bow in the beginning area if you cross the man-made bridge into the cave, but you can also craft it by making a weak spear and adding a rope to it. Arrows are made by adding a feather to a small stick. I recommend making little campsite areas along your journey for you to rest up, pass time to make a day, and cook meals. This will usually consist of a campfire, a safe tent, and a bed. The only way to save the game is by crafting a hut shelter. Once crafted, hold both triggers and select your save. Since this is the Amazon, it will rain a lot. You might want to consider building your camp in or near a cave or building structure to protect your fire from rain. Otherwise, you'll be unable to cook. Sleeping on a bed allows you to recover your energy, but also passes time, and speeds up the degeneration of your macros. It's very easy to get sick and injured in the jungle, whether from eating the wrong food or getting attacked by any of the various fauna. Let me quickly run you through the various ways you can get hurt, as well as the plants you'll need to help you heal and survive. Open wounds can be obtained by falling from heights or by being attacked by wildlife. Find the plant with the yellow flowers, chop at it with your axe, and you will automatically get bandages from it that you can wrap around your arm. There are many ways you can become poisoned in the jungle, primarily from venomous bugs and rattlesnakes. This needs to be treated as soon as possible or you will die from health loss. Look for the little plunger-looking mushrooms found commonly on logs and consume them. Alternatively, you can also eat a lily or tobacco plant. Following getting poisoned, you will also most likely get a fever. This will eventually go away on its own, but it will cause you to lose energy and hydration faster. The easiest way to fight a fever is by getting some sleep and staying hydrated, or by eating these little striped mushrooms, which can usually be found on vines in caves or on walls. You can get food poisoning by eating uncooked meat or by eating this particular mushroom. Food poisoning will give you a green vignette effect and will cause you to vomit, also causing dehydration over time and loss of nutrients. To cure this, find a water lily flower and eat it. Drinking dirty water or eating food with dirty hands can give you parasites. Parasites won't kill you, but your macros will go down much faster. Look for the mushrooms that look like little upside-down plungers, which can be found on logs, the same of which can help with poison. Make sure to regularly check your arms for leeches. If you notice your sanity slowly going down, you might have leeches. To remove them, simply grab them with the grip buttons and pull them off. Don't forget to check behind the elbows. I hope this guide serves you well on your travels. If you do need help with anything else related to the game, Feel free to ask. I've played through the desktop version of Green Hell as well, and I would say that the VR version is easier due to some mechanics of crafting being a lot simpler, as well as the game being a lot more linear. You basically can't get lost in the VR version. If interested, I might do more advanced guides further along in the story or survival mode stuff, so if this is something that you think you'd be interested in or that you would find useful, let me know in the comments below. As always, keep on creating and never lose that drive to survive. I'll see you in the next one.